Attention all gamers, are you ready to unleash your inner power and dominate the battlefield? Introducing the ultimate gaming upgrade, the Banner of War build. This build will transform you into an unstoppable Strand god. Say goodbye to the old solar bonk build and prepare to conquer every activity that stands in your way. Banner of War build is a game changer that would provide you with unmatched strength, speed, and massive amounts of health. With this strong melee build, it enhances your gaming experience to a whole new level. No more relying on your bonk hammers or struggling to defeat formidable foes. The Banner of War build gives you the upper hand from the moment you put this build on. Picture yourself as a fearless warrior leading your team to victory. Your enemies stand no chance against your formidable might. Armed with the Banner of War build, you turn the tide of the battle in your favor. Crush your opponents with devastating blows and demolish every single enemy with just your melee. The power of the Banner of War build goes beyond raw strength. Imagine the envy of your fellow gamers as they witness your godlike abilities. So in this video, you're going to be getting increased melee damage from your exotic armor piece, and you're also going to be getting a ton of melee energy from your exotic weapon. And with the new Strand aspect, you're also going to be provided with healing, increased melee damage even more, and also increased movement speed. And if you would like to try out the build for yourself, the dim link will also be in the link in the description if you are interested. And let's just say this build is really good if you love meleeing every single enemy in your entire path. Now let's head to the main aspect you're going to need for this build to make this possible. The Strand aspect is called Banner of War. When defeating a target with your melee attack, finisher, or sword, it would raise a Banner of War that pulses with energy, and it would also periodically heal nearby allies and also you. And it would also increase melee damage and sword damage. Whenever you defeat a target or your ally defeats a target as well, it will charge the banner, increasing the speed of its pulse. So you can be able to have 4 stacks of Banner of War, and it will last up to 30 seconds. But as what it just said, you could be able to increase the duration whenever you get a kill by you or your nearby allies. Might as well we're talking about the aspects that you need for this build. Let's talk about the second one. It's called Into the Fray. Destroying a tangle or casting your super grants woven mail for nearby allies. While you have woven mail, your melee regeneration rate is increased, and you're also going to have an abundance of woven mail for this build, which also increases your melee regeneration rate, so that is going to be very good. And Into the Fray would also grant you 2 extra fragment slots, so now we would have 4 fragment slots in total. And for this build, you're going to have 5 ways to get melee kills. Let's start with the first one. It is on your Strand grenade, and you're going to be using grapple, because whenever you grapple your enemy, you can also melee the target, which also unravels them, and you're going to be getting your grapple very quickly. The second way to use your melee is of course your Strand melee, which is called Frenzied Blade, and you would have 3 charges of that. And onto the third way to use your melee, it is on your super ability, which is called Blade Fury. And once using your super, you can also inflict Suspend and Server. And if you would like to proc Server on your super, you would need to use your light attack. And if you would like to suspend your targets, you would need to use your heavy attack button. Now let's head to the 4 fragments. 2 of the fragments will benefit from your tangles. 1 of them would be good for your grenades, and the 4th and final one would be good for getting a ton of woven mail. Let's start with the 2 fragments that are good for your tangles. The first one is Thread of Transmutation. While you have woven mail, weapon final blows create a tangle. And remember how I told you that we're going to be getting a ton of woven mail, so this Strand fragment is going to be very good. The second one is Thread of Fury. Damaging targets with a tangle grants melee energy, which makes it even more better to have more melee energy. The third fragment is called Thread of Generation. Dealing damage generates grenade energy. And last but not least is Thread of Warding. Picking up an Orb of Power grants woven mail. So now you will have 2 ways to get woven mail. It's either your Orb of Power or destroying a tangle. So you would have increased melee regeneration at all times. And now you guys are wondering, hey, what stats should I use for this build? Well, I got you covered. The stats you're going to be using are Resilience and Discipline. Why I chose Resilience is because it gives you a damage reduction, and also by having Discipline, you would be able to spam your grapple grenades more often. So be sure to have 100 Resilience and 100 Discipline if you can. If not, then you'll still be good for this build. Now let me show you what weapons I was using for this build. Let's start with the exotic weapon. Of course, with every melee build on the Titan, you're going to be using Monte Carlo. The perk for the Monte Carlo is called called Markov Chain. The weapon gains increased damage from melee attacks and kills with this weapon. Whenever you get a melee kill, it would instantly reload it from its magazine. And the best thing about the Monte Carlo is the intrinsic trait, Monte Carlo method. Dealing damage with this weapon reduces your melee cooldown, that is very good, and grants a chance to fully charge your melee ability with each kill. So your primary goal is to go for red bar enemies like Thralls, Cabal, Scions, and all of those type of enemies to have a chance to fully recharge your melee ability. And it finally has a catalyst that we've been waiting for so long. And here's what it does. Once you're at 5 stacks on Markov Chain, hold your reload button to switch it to the Monte Carlo bayonet. When landing the bayonet, it will grant you melee energy. And you're wondering, how much melee energy will you receive? Well, you would receive half of your melee energy when you either kill them or hit them. And if you would like to know how you can be able to get the catalyst for yourself, you would have a chance to get it from Crucible, Gambit, or Strikes. And you can also get 5 stacks of Markov Chain just by getting 1 melee kill, if you guys didn't know. Now onto the energy weapon. I chose to put this weapon because of the perk. The shotgun is called Aikilos SG version 1.0.3. And here's what perk I'm talking about. It's called 1-2 Punch. Hitting an enemy with every pellet in a shot increases melee damage for a short duration. So all you would have to do is shoot him with your shotgun and then instantly melee the target to deal more damage to your melee. And for the other perk, I chose to put Grave Robber because melee final blows reloads this weapon magazine from reserves. So you won't have to worry about reloading it because this build is mostly meleeing. And now we have our 5th and final way to proc Banner of War. And it's going to be on your heavy weapon. It is a Strand sword that you can be able to get this in Season of the Deep, which is called Thin Precipice. And the rolls that you would want to go for are Chain Reaction, which is very good for ad clear, and Relentless Strike, which grants you more sword ammo whenever you get 3 light attacks. And if you guys would like to know what seasonal mods I was using in this build, and the time that I'm recording is Season 22. And if you're watching this video in the near future, you can skip this part. Now let's head to the first seasonal mod for Season 22. The first one is Communal Pickups. When an ally destroys your Tangle, the Tangle cooldown is reduced by 5 seconds, and you would also gain a bonus damage with weapons matching your subclass for 10 seconds. But the last part doesn't matter, but the first part does. The second one is Refreshing Pickups. Picking up a Tangle grants energy to your least powered ability. Now the next seasonal mod is called Frenzied Stacks. Your armor charges grant bonus damage to your thrown Tangles. And the last seasonal artifact mod is called Elemental Munitions. Combatant final blows with Tangles have a chance to drop special or heavy ammo. What are you guys' thoughts on the new season? Do you guys like it? Do you guys dislike it? Let me know in the comments. I'm interested into knowing what you guys think. Now that we have discussed what fragments, abilities, aspects, and weapons you'll need for this build, now let's go to the whole armor mod that you'll need to make this build even more busted. I want to try something new in this video. In my other videos, I would usually go more in depth about the mods, but this time I'll give you guys a quick run through. Let's start with the helmet. The first mod is optional, so you'll need Powerful Friends, but the other 2 mods are mandatory, so you need Kinetic Siphon and Hands On. Now onto the exotic gauntlet, which is called Syntheseps. It would improve your melee and super damage when you are surrounded, and it would also increase your melee lunge range. And the mods that you'll need for this build are Momentum Transfer, Impact Induction, and Heavy Handed. Now onto the chest. There's only 1 mod that's mandatory and it's charged up. The other 2 mods are resist mods, so you can change them as you please. But for me, I put melee damage resist and arc resistance. For the boots, 2 of the mods are mandatory. The first one is Kinetic Weapon Surge, the second one is Elemental Charge, and the last one is optional, so you can change it as you please. But in this build, I put Innervation so I can grapple more often. Now onto the Titan Mark. There is 1 optional mod that you can change if you would like, and it's called Bomber. And the other 2 mods you'll really need. The first one is Time Dilation, and the other one is Powerful Attraction. Are you a Destiny 2 enthusiast looking for a reliable source of tips, strategies, and discussions about the game? Look no further. By following me on Kick, you're joining a vibrant community of fellow Destiny 2 fans who share your passion for the game. Here's why you should hit that follow button. 1, I do a lot of Destiny 2 helps. 2, I give a lot of strategies and tips about the current meta in Destiny 2. By following me on Kick, we'll embark on this exciting journey together. If you would like to see more videos like these, be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe for more Destiny 2 content. And if you made it this far into the video, be sure to put Banner of War in the comments.